Guys, for the stream cutting out once again. This is external factors that I cannot control whatsoever. It's one of those problems that ACC have, where it just tends to drop the broadcasting stream around the hour mark, but we do pick it back up with Mike the Killer and THKKR going for it, having a good ding-dong battle for the lead, or potentially the lead, as Mike the Killer just absolutely dropped it coming into the final two turns, and that allowed THKKR to close right up onto the back of him then. So THKKR and Mike the Killer are having a right good old battle for what could be the lead of this race. We are yet to find out where AJ to the P reappears in this battle. He is now into the pits for his one and only pit stop. We will ride on board with Mike the Killer and THKKR. You can see how far away these guys are. We will be able to see if AJ to the P made those laps count in that clean air, not having to deal with any trouble whatsoever. When will AJ to the P get the car moving? Texas MC is out of the pits, but Mike the Killer there, he's just come through the corkscrew. He's coming through the final two turns. AJ to the P is still sat in the pits then. So Mike the Killer and THKKR come round the final turn, they're onto the start line, finish straight. AJ to the P is still sat in the pits. Sat in the pits for a very, very long time then, so AJ to the P has actually lost out quite considerably, because Mike the Killer and THKKR are already around turn one, and we know how long and slow that pit lane exit is around Laguna Seca, so the gap is going to be some easy 15 seconds AJ has lost to THKKR in that pit stop phase. Mike the Killer and THKKR are completely gone in a battle of their own for the lead then. TSR Science has actually moved up to third, but a successful pit stop, so AJ to the P going for the long one did not work out in his favour at all, because he's now back down into fourth place. He was originally challenging for what would have been the lead of this race, which is now saw him back down in fourth, some 5 seconds adrift of TSR Science. So we are seeing some yellow flags because Texas MC is a spinner. Hopefully he can regather himself and not cause any issues for the drivers. Mr. Death Zone is there, as Texas MC does just get out the way then, so goes through Mr. Death Zone, and everyone else continues to race. We'll ride on board with Murcielago then. He's not too far away from TSR Lemon, but he's got ENTDI right behind him. This is for 10th place. Murcielago and ENTDI, as THKKR and Mike the Killer are having a right old battle for the lead. So Mike the Killer has got to deal with this pressure from THKKR. He's dealing with it okay for now, but Mike the Killer had a massive off, his own driver error. He dropped it, he was very, very late on the brakes in the final two turns, and he just lost all that lead that he had built up in the first phase of this race. Those 6 seconds completely diminished, and he has now got THKKR right all over the back of him. So we will see how Mike deals with pressure now, as the gap is some 12 seconds to TSR Science, who's got 5.5 seconds over AJ to the P then. So AJ to the P lost out massively in that pit stop window, but a massive beneficiary of it all is MSX, who is now up into 5th place. Such a strong showing for MSX then. He's having a fantastic race, but he does have red fly all over the back of him. Less than a second separating these two guys, both running their pink liveries. So pretty in pink is MSX and Redfly. SV5 is there in 7th place from TSR Lemon, with the Ferrari of Smoke sandwiched between them both right now. So it's nice to see that there's still 17 runners and riders. We've lost Ben Gallagher, who was not a happy man in that Audi machine. He pitted early on and retired from the race. But THKKR once again all over the back of Mike the Killer then. So some little niggles just starting to show from Mike. He's having to defend with everything he's got, and he's just, those little mistakes are starting to creep in. THKKR is piling on the pressure then for the lead of this race. 35 minutes remaining. Track temperatures have dropped to 33 degrees. I mean, it's still really hot. Track temperatures started at 36, 37s, even 38s at the beginning of this race. So scorching heat around Laguna Seca, but they're on lap number 39. Is it the lap for THKKR to make a move? He's looking. He can't quite make it work this time around. So he will just stick to the bumper of that Mercedes machine. As these two are lapping nose to tail. So we'll run through the order right now. Mike the Killer is currently leading the way, but he had a 6-second advantage before the pit stop windows. Is now diminished down to less than half a second, 0.3 of a gap between himself and THKKR currently. THKKR is having a fantastic second half of this race. They've got 10 seconds over TSR Science, who was a massive beneficiary of the pit stop window. So TSR Science has just kept it nice and clean and he's moved up into 3rd place. AJ to the P currently holds 4th. He was the race leader for some time, but he was the very last man to make a pit stop, and it has not worked in his favour whatsoever. He's managed to lose 20 seconds to THKKR in the pit stop window, because he was all over the back of THKKR before the two leaders decided to pit. And now we've got all the work to do again from that 4th place position. A strong showing for MSX. He's there in 5th, but he does have his mirrors full of Redfly. Redfly is looking to make a move round the outside. He tucks into the slipstream. Which way is he going to go? Is he going to be made to go the long way around? Up turn 1, it looks like he is. Can he get the cut back? Does MSX keep it tight? It keeps it tight enough. Just enough to hold off Redfly for now. As Redfly is getting his nose up the inside, does he get the move done? He does not get the move done. I thought there was going to be contact then. It looked very close indeed between Redfly and MSX, and these two are getting racy. Redfly is getting impatient. He doesn't want to be waiting any longer behind MSX. And MSX is doing a fantastic job of defending his position. As Ian TBI is also all over the back of TSR Lemon. In fact, he's got past TSR Lemon and the timing screens have not updated. So Ian TBI is having a good race back up into 8th. Through the corkscrew they go. There's that Ferrari man just in front of them, and Smoke is there in 15th place now. We've lost another one. Who have we lost? If someone in the chat could let me know who have we lost. I can't see anything different with the top 10. Yeah, quite a few Porsches. We know Porsches do run very well around this Laguna Seca circuit. Obviously, we know you're a big Porsche fan there, AJS. So we did start this race with a full grid. We've managed to lose a couple of retirees, unfortunately. We're not sure if anybody's had any connection issues, but we are down to 16 drivers. Cristiano's back into the pits then, so this isn't one of his mandatory stops. I'm not sure what he hasn't done, but he is going to drop to the rear of the field. Mr. Death Zone, that's right. Thank you very much to Shadow for letting me know that Mr. Death Zone was the next one to drop out of the race. So 30 minutes remaining and we are on lap number 42, ladies and gentlemen. THKKR is hounding Mike the Killer then. The last 5 laps Mike has had to deal with THKKR, who just got it on the gravel there. That's not going to help his progress as he's off. Mike the Killer is off once again then. Mike the Killer, I was saying those little niggles are creeping in for him. He's making those small mistakes which are going to cost him. As I was just about to say, THKKR has just lost ground with Mike the Killer. THKKR has managed to sneak through as Mike also lost it on the uphill section before the corkscrew. My, it's all changed at the front of the field then. THKKR is your new race leader with 30 minutes to go. So Mike the Killer took pole position. He's led all 41 laps, but THKKR lap number 42 complete, and he takes up the running of race number 2 around Laguna Seca, this Coach Dave Academy sponsored event hosted by SOP Motorsport. THKKR is the new race leader. He just needs to keep it on the tarmac now with 29 more minutes. Mike the Killer is 1.5 seconds adrift in that Mercedes machine. He just needs to find his consistency once again, because he had the speed. He had a 6-second advantage before the pit stop windows, and that has eroded, and he's now finding himself into second place. TSR Science is only 7 seconds adrift of Mike now, so he's got to be careful. AJ to the P is rapidly closing. The gap was 5 seconds, is now down to 2.3. So are we going to have a battle on our hands in the closing stages of this race? MSX and SV5 are having a fantastic battle over 5th and 6th. SV5 is just getting his nose up the inside. Into turn 3 they go. SV5, MSX, MSX, SV5. SV5 then, he gets that 5th place position. He held the inside line, so MSX is fighting back then. Will he look to move up the inside? He thinks better of it. So he's going to tuck in behind the Porsche machine of ILRT SV5, who is now in 5th place. So a fantastic battle going on right through the field. Ian TVI having a good recovery driver after that opening lap spin. Found himself at the rear of the field, now up into 7th. TSR Lemon is running 8th. Twitch Wake in the Pineapple Porsche is there in 9th. He hasn't had a happy day either. He had some big damage, and he ran with it until his pit stop. Murcielago is there in 10th. Tropic Rot is 11th. Mr. Fancy, after having that, I believe was what are coming together with Ben Gallagher over 3rd and 4th in the opening laps, has now been running down in 12th place. The second of the Lamborghinis, as we've lost Etienne Moreno, who was also a Lamborghini driver. That is the driver who we lost. Redfly is now right down into 13th place then. Doesn't look like he's got any damage on that machine, so we're not sure what has happened there, because he was running right at the front of the grid. Up into the pit stop phase he was running in a strong 3rd place position, so it just goes to show how the fortune can change in one of these types of races. Laguna Seca is a very unforgiving track. If you just get one corner wrong, a sausage curve can grab you, or if you get one tyre out onto the dirt, it can fling you right off the circuit. And we've seen quite a lot of drivers just make these small mistakes, and it's been very costly indeed. But nothing has cost in THKKR. He is the man on the mission. He is leading the way now, and he's pulling away from Mike. Mike is now 2.7 seconds adrift. So He is not having a happy second half of this race. 3 seconds is the gap to THKKR, and he's falling into the clutches of TSR Science and AJ to the P if he's not careful. So it looks like we're going to have a fantastic battle for the lead still between these 4 drivers. Nothing to really choose between these two because the 2 Bentley machines are closing rapidly on Mike and THKKR. The gap was over 10 seconds to the 2 guys up front. They've closed it. 5 seconds they've closed that gap within a space of 10 minutes. So it's going to be extra spicy, Nando style, come the end of the race. I think everybody knows what a Nando's is. I hope they do. Let me know if it's a underrated or overrated chicken shop in the chat. But Mike the Killer, he's there in second place still. The gap is settled to around 3 seconds to THKKR. He is the man leading the way around Laguna Seca then, with 25 minutes to go. What is the gap between TSR Science and AJ to the P? It's less than half a second. So these guys are doing battle once again. TSR Science was leading AJ to the P in the first half of this race. Obviously AJ to the P did not do any qualifying whatsoever, and he had to fight his way through the field. He got past TSR Science once. We'll see how wise TSR Science is to AJ to the P this time around, as they use every inch of the track that they can. Over the curves, onto the green stuff, through the corkscrew they go for another lap. We've got the Lamborghini of Mr. Fancy just ahead, as TSR Science was very wobbly then. Coming into the final 2 turns, these guys are then battling over third currently. So TSR Science is now dropping away from Mike as these 2 are battling over third. The sensible thing to do would be to let AJ to the P go, and then you 2 can tow each other around and catch up to Mike the Killer and hopefully challenge for a podium position at the end of the race. They do have, like I said, the Lamborghini of Mr. Fancy just ahead. Hopefully he doesn't play a part in the changing of positions. We will ride on board with Mr. Fancy actually and see the action from his point of view. We'll see if he moves out the way. He's over the curves, coming up to the corkscrew now. These guys will be. He's holding his line currently through there then, so he's he hasn't let TSR Science through just yet, as AJ to the P has actually made a mistake then. So AJ to the P has actually dropped back 2 seconds to TSR Science. He made a mistake the last time that he was trying to get past also. So AJ to the P with all the work to do again, as we will ride on board with TSRLM, who is right on the tail of Ian TDI. This is the battle over 7th and 8th currently. We will race for Peri Peri Chicken. Hey, in Nando's black card there are such things. We could try and get one of them. 3 Nando's for life. That's a prize worth winning. But we do have 17 runners and riders left, so Mr. Deathzone has rejoined the race. Texas MC is probably classed as your last place man at the minute, because Mr. Deathzone is some 10 laps behind. FRT Cristiano had to come into the pits again. We're not sure why, but He's dropped right down the rear of the field. Smoke is there in 14th place then. He's the lead Ferrari man right now. Red Fly is down in 13th. He won't be happy about that one then. He's dropped 10 places in this race. Mr. Fancy was running up in 4th. Challenging for the podium places also. He's down in 12th. Murcielago's had a steady race around the mid-pack. He is currently in 11th. Tropic Rot is having a good fight back through the field in his number 25 Lamborghini machine. He's holding the top 10 spot with Wake. Not too far ahead in the Pineapple Porsche, TSR Lemon, ENTDI, MSX there in 6th place now. He's lost out to SV5 in that battle. AJ to the P is now slowly closing back up to the rear of TSR Science, but the gap is out to 5 seconds from Mike the Killer, who's dropped back 3 seconds to THKKR then. So hopefully there's no commentator's curse in this, but as long as THKKR keeps it on the tarmac, he's got 20 minutes to claim the victory, because Mike is there in 2nd place and he doesn't seem as happy in this second phase of the race. Cristiano was a spinner. Thank you for letting us know in the chat there, Megan. So what he might have done then is, if he spanned that car and cooked those tyres, he's just come in for an extra pit stop to put new rubber on them. There's nothing worse than racing with a flat spot on those tyres. But no such problems for THKKR. He is on lap number 50 with 19 minutes to go. The man on the mission. Mike the Killer then is dropping back. 3.1 seconds is the gap, but he is keeping TSR Sounds honest then. 5.7 seconds the gap between those two, as AJ to the P is coming back for round 2. He's looking for a move up the inside of TSR Science. He's not going to get it done this time around. He's not going to want to make a mistake, as he's lost valuable time with 18 minutes remaining. We know AJ to the P has got some rapid pace in that machine. He could have been past TSR Science already if he didn't make that mistake and drop back by 2 seconds. It's taken him a couple of laps to regain that time. But catching up to someone and overtaking someone are two completely different things. It requires a lot of skill, and I do just wonder if TSR Science can hold that pressure from AJ to the P, because he was sliding all over the place in the first half of this race as AJ to the P was challenging him early on, but he doesn't seem to be making such mistakes this time around. It's a lot smoother now with TSR Science. As there's a good battle developing actually between MSX, Twitch Wake and ENTDI. I thought the gap was closer. What's going on there? ENTDI's got some damage on that Porsche. As we do have a spinner. Who is that? TSR Lemon is facing the wrong way then. He's just teleported himself back to the pits then. So TSR Lemon's race is run. He teleported back to the pits. We've seen that yellow flag, we're not sure what happened there. ENTDI seems to have some damage, so I wonder if there was just a collision somewhere, because Twitch Wake is now up into 7th place then, and he is all over the back of MSX all of a sudden for 6th place. So out of nowhere, Wake has woke, because he's now fighting for a top 6 position. as he's looking to make a move right round the outside. Wow, I was not expecting that to happen then. Wake went right round the outside of MSX, as MSX has now lost it. He's all over the gravel, he's all over the Laguna Seca dust, as he just lost his braking point. I think he was caught out. I was caught out by Wake making that move right round the outside. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, up into 6th place. He was 10th just one lap ago. But we do have just over 15 minutes remaining. The gap to Mike Tequila and TSR Science is now into 4 seconds, 5 seconds. There's the gap, as AJ to the P once again AJ to the P has lost it somewhere on the lap. He must have been trying to overtake TSR Science, but he finds himself 10 seconds adrift of the podium positions now. I'm sure we'll find out at the end of the race what's happened there. Nevertheless, it's a good drive from AJ to the P back up into 4th place. He had his sights set on the win, if I'm being honest, before the pit stop windows, or the pit stop phase of this race took part, because he was right on the back of THKKR, less than 0.2 of a second. And the THKKR, Mike Tequila, decided to pit on the exact same lap. AJ to the P decided to stay out for a few more laps, and that did not work in his favour whatsoever. He was 15 seconds adrift by the time he completed his pit stop. And that gap has now increased to almost 20 seconds because of an error / incident that we haven't seen. But THKKR, he's on lap number 54 then, and that gap is ever increasing to Mike Tequila. Mike Tequila looks to have settled in for 2nd place. He can't quite close the gap to THKKR. He hasn't got the speed as what he had in the first half of this race, as we will just look to the rear of the field then. Mr. Desson still racing then, he is 8 laps down. TSR Lemon has just retired from the race. Texas MC is 3 laps down also, he's there in 15th. FRT Cristiano is still lapping then after a spin. Smoke is there in 13th. Redfly is currently running in 12th place. He won't be happy with 12th because he was running right at the front of the field, as was Mr. Fancy in there in 11th. Murcielago then makes up the top 10. Tropic Rot is there in 9th. He is just behind ENTVI, who's had a fantastic race back up through the field. MSX has just lost a few places then on these last few laps. He's gone from 4th down to 7th because Wake, SV5 and AJ to the P has found their way past. But the top 3 look secure then with 13 minutes remaining. TSR Science, Mike Tequila and THKKR, as once again Smoke just moves out the way for the race leader. And the race leader, THKKR, he can see Tropic Rot and Ian not too far in the distance, so that goes to show the type of fortune or misfortune you can have in a race, because THKKR is already, I say already, is all over the back of Tropic Rot and Ian, then Ian being his teammate. So that's saying something if the leader can come round to lap all the guys up to 8th place in a 90-minute race. But things are now just settling back down. We will ride on board with a number 8 machine because there's a nice group of cars circulating around Laguna Seca right now. You got ENTDI just ahead. My mistake, we've got THKKR, the race leader, who's just gone by Smoke, and Smoke has got Mr. Death Zone then, the two Ferrari machines behind, but Mr. Death Zone has then also got Mike the Killer, the guy who's in second place. He dropped right back to THKKR then, as Mr. Death Zone just gets out the way. So we will ride on board with Smoke, sitting in 13th place then. THKKR actually, what has happened here, THKKR has lost that massive lead that he had over Mike the Killer, because Mike the Killer is right over the back of him then. The gap must be down to at least a second, ladies and gentlemen. You can visually see that that gap has increased massively, and all of a sudden we've got a fight for the lead. 10 minutes to go. THKKR and Mike the Killer, are we going to have round number 3 for these guys? So THKKR is currently leading the way, lap number 57 for that man. Mike the Killer, the gap is down to 1.3 seconds. As CSR Science also only 3.8 seconds adrift with 10 minutes to go. It's going to be a mighty battle for the lead, for the win between these three guys. AJ to the P, he's having to settle for that 4th place. SV5 has had a good drive up to 5th, a fantastic drive up to 5th on his return to racing with SOP Motorsport. Twitch Wake has had a good run up into 6th then. So the top 10 really dominated by Porsches and Bentleys. NSX is there in 7th. Tropogrot is 8th. Ian TVI just getting all out of sorts at the minute in that Porsche machine in 9th. As Tropogrot, as I say that, Tropogrot is over the gravel as well. So 10 minutes to go, some driver errors starting to creep in for these guys. Murcielago is there in 10th. He is holding on to that 10th place position. Mr. Fancy is some 9 seconds adrift. And that's a beautiful livery on that Lamborghini machine. I'm not sure why I haven't mentioned that before, but it's almost like a leopard print. That's a lovely livery. Leopard print, tiger print. But we will turn our attention back to the lead of this race. THKKR and Mike the Killer. 1.5 seconds is the gap between these two guys. Mike was the one that made the mistake. Which allowed THKKR through for free. Basically, THKKR didn't have to battle for the lead, and then THKKR was the one that's made a mistake, and that's allowed Mike the Killer to close right back up to the leader of this race, as THKKR is now coming up to the back of his teammate Ian TVI. I do wonder if there's going to be any team talk going on between those two right now. I'm sure Ian will let THKKR through pretty easy. I don't know if the same is going to be said for Mike. But we are into the closing stages of this Coach Dave Academy sponsored event around Laguna Seca, hosted by SOP Motorsport. This is race number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Baggy was your race winner and driver of the day from race number 1. He started last. He didn't set a qualifying time, and he worked his way up through the field to take a commanding victory in race number 1. THKKR is leading the way in this one. Only just leading the way from Mike Tequila. Mike Tequila took that pole position and he led over 40 laps of this race before a mistake crept in which allowed THKKR through. That was all that was needed. But it hasn't been the best of a second half of this race for Mike, because he did have a good advantage of over 6 seconds out in the lead, but THKKR managed to close that gap through the pit stop window, and then he managed to take the lead as he was pressurising Mike. And then THKKR has been in the lead for at least the last 15 laps. I can't remember which lap he took the lead, but he does have his teammate Ian TDI just ahead of him then. And Ian and Tropic Rot are actually battling for 8th and 9th right now out on track, so seeing those blue flags are not entirely what those guys wanted, as Ian TDI just spins it then. We saw that coming. Ian TDI just lost the rear of that push machine coming through the corkscrew. He still hasn't moved, as he does get going once again then. So he was having a good showing, Ian, but he's just lost it with less than 5 minutes to go though. But THKKR, no problems for this man. He is leading the way. The gap is only 1.1 seconds between himself and Mike. TSR Science is running in a strong third, 3.6 seconds adrift of this lead. Battle AJ to the P is some 13.5 seconds adrift. I wonder if he's just under-fueled actually as well then, so he's just dropped off the pace, conserving fuel for the final laps of this race. Twitch Wake has only just negotiated the corkscrew, so that shows you the type of gap that these top 4 drivers have over the rest of the field, because Twitch Wake is only coming around the final turn now to start lap number 62, or 61 rather. But he does have an 18-second gap to MSX, who is running there in 7th place. He's got a 1.5 second gap to Tropic Rot, so Tropic Rot is slowly closing, and Ian actually, that's not Ian, I'm getting confused with the liveries ladies and gentlemen, that is THKKR is coming up to the back of Tropic Rot and MSX. So these guys are doing battle then for 7th and 8th now, and they've got the 2 race leaders of THKKR and Mike hot on their heels with 3 minutes to go. Nothing to choose between these guys then. Hopefully these drivers fighting over 7th and 8th move out the way for this for these guys in the lead of the race. I wonder if they're just going to be too focused on their own race. They're in 7th and 8th, if they're even going to bother moving out the way for THKKR and Mike, as they do both move to the left. Do they let the race leaders through? Hopefully there hasn't been any contact. They do get past, so THKKR and Mike Tequila, he's looking for a way right round the outside. Wow, he sweeps through for the race lead then. Mike Tequila has pounced with what will be, there's 2 laps remaining ladies and gentlemen, 2 laps, 2 minutes to go. Mike Tequila takes back up the running of the lead in this race. THKKR is there in 2nd. I think THKKR just got caught out by Tropic Rot running in 8th place. I do wonder if that is what happened as the late on the brakes then. THKKR, he doesn't want to lose. He doesn't want to lose that lead as Mike Tequila and THKKR motor on. MSX in the Nissan GTR does just move out of the way then. Is THKKR, he's having a run on Mike Tequila then as he's looking to the inside. He's looking to the inside. Do they outbrake themselves? There's no contact between these two. Wow, that's fantastic racing. Such fantastic racing. THKKR in what is going to be the penultimate lap retakes the lead of this race. You've got to give these guys a round of applause. Mike and THKKR put on a fantastic show, a fantastic display of sportsmanship and racecraft. These guys have been battling for the lead in what has been the last 45 minutes of this race, as they will be going on to the very final lap now. THKKR, one more circuit of Laguna Seca to go. THKKR it is that leads Mike Tequila then. One more to go for these guys. The leaders are on their final lap. Mike Tequila is going to be looking for a move any way he can. But THKKR hugs the inside line. He slows it right down. He's doing what he needs to do. He just needs to keep it on the tarmac and bring it home. The timer has gone to 0 then. There is no time left in this race. It is all or nothing for Mike on this final lap around Laguna Seca. We are on the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know in the chat who you think has been your driver of the day. Is it AJ to the P from last on the grid up to 4th? Is it Mike who took pole position and led over 40 laps of this 1.5 hour race? Is it THKKR who took the lead around lap number 45 and then had a fantastic battle with Mike to the end of this race? Mike is looking for a move up the inside. Is all or nothing, do or die. The final 2 turns, ladies and gentlemen. THKKR from Mike Tequila slows it right down then. These guys are going to be coming across the line nose to tail, but it is THKKR in a fantastic victory. He takes the win from Mike Tequila. Nothing to separate these guys as they cross the line. Fantastic battle between these guys. TSR brings it home in 3rd. AJ to the PLB 4th. Twitch Wake is there in 5th from ILRT SP5. MSX and Tropic Rot have already seen the checkered flag. Ian's there in 9th from Murcielago in 10th. Mr. Fancy there brings it home in 11th. Redfly is there in 12th. FRT Cristiano, Smoke, Texas and Mr. Death Zone. Even though he's 15 laps down, he did rejoin the race to complete this one. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in what is race number 2, the sponsored Coach Dave Academy event. It's been a fantastic one to commentate on, and I'm actually just waiting for the stream to cut, the broadcast to cut, because that's what ACC is going to do to me eventually, as Mr. Death Zone does some victory or some final lap donuts as he teleports himself back to the pits. But yeah, a round of applause to these guys. THKKR in a fantastic win over Mike Tequila. TSR Science, AJ to the P and Twitch Wake completes the top 5. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. The stream will end here. We hope to see you next time. We do have the Sprint Series happening on Monday. That is the Pro, Silver and AM Series. 8:30 will be the start time of the stream, and we hope to see you there. Thank you and good night.